Babur was a Mohammedan king, the grandfather of Akbar. Guru Nanak was a saint, a contemporary of Babur. He came to the court of Babur, and Babur offered him bhang, a cup of opium, and said, Sai ji, bhang pijiye. Guru Nanak was experiencing another kind of intoxication. He said, bhang tambaku chutara, utar jaye parvat. Are king, things like tobacco, etc., you have the intoxication today and tomorrow it's gone. In fact, it is followed by a hangover. So he said, Naam khumari nanaka chadhi rahe din raat. The intoxication I am experiencing from the holy name of God, it stays with me day and night. Sri Krishna is telling Arjuna, when your mind reaches a level of absorption, that absorption will be called samādhi. So this kind of bliss, which is boundless, which comes from inside, Sri Krishna says, you will experience it when the mind reaches a level of absorption called samādhi.
Bhagavad Gita, Chapter 6, Dhyan Yog, the Yoga of Meditation. Sloka chanting is followed by translation and commentary by Swami Mukundananda.
Sukhamatyantikam yattad bodhigrahyamatīndriyam vetti yatra na chaivayam sthitaschalati tatvatah.
In that joyous state of yoga called samādhi, one experiences supreme, boundless, divine bliss, and thus situated, one never deviates from the eternal truth. So, yoga, we have discussed many times, is to unite with God. And that union is through the mind and the intellect. Now, when the mind is held steadily in God, then you are in yoga. And Sri Krishna says that in that state, you will experience a bliss that is beyond your senses and your intellect. There are pratyakshvadis, empiricists. Empiricists say, I will only believe what I can see. You want me to believe in the soul? Yes. Show me the soul. You want me to believe in God? Yes. I've got no problem. As long as you show me God, I'll believe in Him. Karl Marx had said, the founder of communist philosophy, I have got no problem believing in God as long as I can put him in a laboratory and dissect him. But the problem is, God is bigger than the biggest. So first of all, how will you get him in a laboratory? And if you do, in front of Bhagavan, Karl Marx will be like a mosquito in front of the mountain. But his contention is that only if I can dissect God, I will believe him. So this is the perspective of the empiricists, pratyakshvadi. They will believe what they can see, touch, taste, smell, hear, etc. So there is so much which is beyond our senses. Our mind itself is beyond the senses. Mr. Scientist, have you ever seen the mind? No. Have you seen thoughts? No. Then why do you believe that there are thoughts? Mr. Scientist, why do you believe that you have got a mind? If you are only going to believe what you can see, then don't believe. Now there is a president of a country. He has to administer a whole country. If the president says, I will only believe what I can see, then how will he administer 50 states? There's a limitation to the senses, and so much goes beyond. There's a whole realm called extrasensory perception. You know the varieties of siddhis that yogis have? That all goes beyond the senses. So likewise is the happiness. The happiness we get through the senses is limited and finite. And that limited and finite happiness is not satisfying the soul. So the soul wants a kind of happiness that is atyantikam, endless. Means once you have got it, you will get it forever and ever and ever. So, when the founder of ISKCON, when he came to the US, Prabhupada ji, the Hare Krishna movement in the 1960s, so that was the days when the counter-culture was going on in the US. And people were rebelling against society. So they were going to all kinds of unconventional things. And that was also the time when people like Allen Ginsberg, etc., had introduced LSD as a means for what they felt was a higher realization. So you take LSD and you go high. And then Prabhupada said, no. I'll tell you a way to stay high forever. You chant the names of God and the bliss you will get, you will stay high forever. That was also what Guru Nanak told Babur. Babur was a Mohammedan king, the grandfather of Akbar. So Mughal king, he came, he killed, he did so many things, and then he became the king in Delhi. So those were difficult days, and Guru Nanak was a saint, a contemporary of Babur. He came to the court of Babur, and Babur offered him bhang, a cup of opium, and said, Sai ji, bhang pijiye. Guru Nanak was experiencing another kind of intoxication. He said, bhang tambaku chutara, utar jaye parvat. Are king, this intoxication of bhang, of tambaku, of chutara, things like tobacco, etc., you have the intoxication today and tomorrow it's gone. In fact, it is followed by a hangover. See, when people engage in intoxication, the next day they get a splitting headache. That is called hangover. So he said, Naam khumari nanaka chadhi rahe din raat. The intoxication I am experiencing from the holy name of God, it stays with me day and night. The Sri Krishna is telling Arjun that, look Arjun, when your mind reaches a level of absorption, that absorption will be called samādhi. Some people look on samādhi as the highest goal because, Maharshi Patañjali said, yam, niyam, asan, pranayam, pratyar, dharan, dhyan, samādhi. So because samādhi is the end, they think samādhi is the end. Samādhi is not the end. Samādhi is only the beginning of entering the spiritual realm. But it means that to a large extent you have extricated yourself out of the material energy by absorbing yourself in God. And what will be the consequence? You will feel good. Maja aa gaya. Ultimately, we want that maja, right? That happiness. So now the real maja will begin. So sometimes you may wonder that why did big kings leave their kingdom to go and live in the jungle? Was there something wrong with them? Was there a crack in their head? So obviously they were getting a better happiness in the jungle than they were getting in all the worldly opulence. That's the reason why they went there. So this kind of bliss, which is boundless, which comes from inside, Sri Krishna says, you will experience it when the mind reaches a level of absorption called samādhi.